Yeah, we are live now. Yeah. So today we will start with the book Designing Your Life. It's written by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. So, how to build a well lived and joyful life. I think the word joyful and well lived is to be emphasized here. And designing your life itself shows that there is a possibility that things can be different, things can be better. Right. And I think this book is very highly recommended, and thereby we have picked this up. So let's go through it. Yeah. So once you'll scroll down. To all of the wonderful students who have shared their stories and lives with us, and whose openness and willing engagement have taught us more about life design than we ever could have imagined. To my wife Cynthia, who told me to take the job at Stanford, I love you and wouldn't be the person I am without you. Bill Burnett. What does the next author say? To my dear wife, Claudia, the true literary force in our house, who refused to let me not write this book and has tirelessly reminded me why. Your love has redeemed me again and again. Dave Evans. These are the two authors of the book. We have about 11 chapters, and there is a conclusion to it. So let's start with the. I
You
think we
want to
can.
read through the contents? No, na?
No, we will go further down. Yeah, introduction. Yes. Yeah. Introduction. Life by Design. Ellen liked rocks. She liked collecting them, sorting them, and categorizing them according to size and shape, or type and color. After 2 years at a prestigious university, the time came for Ellen to declare her major. She had no idea what she wanted to do with her life or who she wanted to be when she grew up. But it was time to choose. Geology seemed like the best decision at the time. After all, she really liked rocks. Ellen's mother and father were proud of their daughter, the geology major, a future geologist. When Ellen graduated, she moved back home with her parents. She began babysitting and dog walking to make a little money. Her parents were confused. This is what she had done in high school. They had just paid for an expensive college education. When was their daughter going to turn magically into a geologist? When was she going to begin her career? This is what she had studied for. This is what she was supposed to do. The thing is, Ellen had realized she didn't want to be a geologist. She wasn't all that interested in spending her time studying the Earth's processes or materials or history. She wasn't interested in field work or in working for a natural resource company or an environmental agency. She didn't like mapping or generating reports. She had chosen geology by default because she had liked rocks, and now, Ellen, diploma in hand, frustrated parents in her ear, had absolutely no idea how to get a job and what she should do with the rest of her life. If it was true, as everyone had told her, that her college years were the best 4 years of her life, Ellen had nowhere to go but down. She did not realize that she was hardly alone in not wanting to work in the field in which she had majored. In fact, in the United States, only 27% of college grads end up in a career related to their majors. The idea that what you major in is what you will do for the rest of your life, and that college represents the best years of your life before a life of hard work and boredom are two of what we call dysfunctional beliefs. The myths that prevent so many people from designing the life they want. Dysfunctional belief. Your degree determines your career. Reframe. Three-quarters of all college grads don't end up working in a career related to their majors. By her mid 30s, Janene was really starting to reap the benefits of decades of dedication. She had jumped on the fast track early and had managed to stay there. She was a graduate of a top college and a top law school, had joined a firm that did important and influential work, and was on her way to really making it. College, law school, marriage, career, everything in her life had turned out exactly as she had planned, and her willpower and hard work had given her everything she wanted. She was the picture of success and achievement. But Janine had a secret. Some nights, after driving home from the law firm that bore one of the most recognizable names in Silicon Valley, she would sit out on the deck as the lights of the valley came on and cry. She had everything she thought she should have, everything she thought she wanted, but she was profoundly unhappy. She knew she should have aesthetic with the life she had created, but she wasn't, not even close. Janine imagined that there was something wrong with her. Who wakes up every morning the picture of success and goes to bed every night with a knot in her stomach, feeling as if there's something missing, something that got lost along the way. Where do you turn when you have everything and nothing all at the same time? Like Elon, Janine had a dysfunctional belief. She believed that if she rode all the merry-go-rounds and grabbed for all the brass rings, she would find happiness. Janine is also not alone. In America, two-thirds of workers are unhappy with their jobs, and 15% actually hate their work. Dysfunctional belief. If you are successful, you will be happy. Reframe. True happiness comes from designing a life that works for you. Donald had made his money. He had worked for more than 30 years at the same job. His home was almost paid off. His children had all graduated from college. His retirement funds had been carefully invested. He had a solid career and a solid life. Get up, go to work, pay the bills, go home, go to bed. Wake up the next day and do it all again. Later, lather, rinse, repeat. For years, Donald had been asking the same question over and over. He carried this question with him to coffee shops, to dinner table, to church, and even into his local bar, where a few fingers of scotch would quiet the question. But always it would return. For close to a decade, the question had woken him up at 2 a.m. and stood with him in front of the bathroom mirror. Why the hell am I doing this? Not once had the guy looking back at him in the mirror ever had a good answer. Donald's dysfunctional belief was related to Janine's, but he had held on to it for much longer. A life of responsible and successful work should make him happy. It should be enough. But Donald had another dysfunctional belief that he couldn't stop doing what he had always done. If only the guy in the mirror could have told him that he was not alone and he did not have to do what he had always done. The United States alone, more than 31 million people between ages 44 and 70 want what is often called an encore career, work that combines personal meaning, continued income, and social impact. Some of those 31 million have found their encore careers, and many others have no idea where to begin and fear it's too late in life to make a big change. Dysfunctional belief it's too late. Reframe it's never too late to design a life you love. Three people, three big problems. Designers love problems. Look around you. Look at your office or home, the chair you are sitting on, the table or smartphone you may be holding. Everything that surrounds us was designed by someone, and every design started with a problem. The problem of not being able to listen to a lot of music without carrying around a suitcase of CDs is the reason why you can listen to 3,000 songs on an 1-inch square object clipped to your shirt. It's only because of a problem that your phone fits perfectly in the palm of your hand, or that your laptop gets 5 years of battery life, or that your alarm clock plays the sound of chirping birds. Now the annoying life Now the annoying sound of sorry. Now the annoying sound of an alarm clock may not seem like a big problem in the grand scheme of things, but it was problem enough for those who didn't want to start each day with a harsh beeping of a typical alarm clock. Problems are why you have running water and insulation in your home. Plumbing was created because of a problem. Toothbrushes were invented because of a problem. Chairs were created because someone somewhere wanted to solve a big problem. Sitting on rocks causes sore bottoms. There's a big difference between design problems and engineering problems. We both have engineering degrees, and engineering is a good approach to solve a problem when you can get a great deal of data and you are sure there is one best solution. Bill worked on the problem of engineering the hinges on Apple's first laptops, and the solution he and his team came up with made those laptops some of the most reliable on the market. The solution required many prototypes and lots of testing, similar to the design process. But the goal of creating hinges that would last 5 years or opening and closing 10,000 times was fixed, and his team tested many different mechanical solutions until they met their goal. Once this goal was met, the solution could be reproduced millions of times. It was a good engineering problem. Compare this with the problem of designing the first laptop that had a built in mouse. Because Apple's computers relied on the mouse to do almost everything, building a laptop had required you to be wired up to a regular mouse was unacceptable. This was a design problem. There was no precedent to design toward. There was no fixed or predetermined outcome. There were plenty of ideas floating around the lab, and a number of different designs were tested, but nothing was working. Then along came an engineer named John Cover. John had been tinkering around with miniaturized trackballs and had the crazy idea to push the keyboard to the back of the unit, leaving just enough room to squeeze in this tiny pointing device. This turned out to be the big breakthrough everyone had been looking for and had been part of the signature look of Apple laptops ever since. Anyone would like to take up reading from here?
Yeah, I can read. If anyone wants to read, they can. Okay, I'll start. Anyone wants to read, you can write their names. Aesthetics or the way things look is another obvious example of a problem with no one right solution that designers work on. For instance, there are a lot of high performance sports cars in the world and they all evoke a sense of speed, but a Porsche doesn't look anything like a Ferrari. Both are expertly engineered, both contain almost identical parts, but each has a completely different aesthetic appeal. The designers at each company take exquisite care with every curve and line, every headlight and grille, but they make very different decisions. Each company works in its own way. A Ferrari has a unmistakably passionate Italian look, and a Porsche a fast, exacting German sensibility. Designers study aesthetics for years in order to make these industrial products the equivalent of moving sculpture. That's why, in some ways, aesthetics is the ultimate design problem. Aesthetics involves human emotion, and we have discovered that when emotions are involved, design thinking has proved to be the best problem solving tool. When we were faced with the problem of helping our students leave college, and enter the world as productive and happy people, to figure out just what the hell to do with the life in front of them, we knew design thinking would be the best way to solve this particular problem. Designing your life doesn't involve a clear goal, like creating hinges that last 5 years or building a giant bridge that will safely connect to land masses. Those are engineering problems in which you can get hard data on your options and engineer the one best solution. When you have a desired outcome, a truly portable laptop computer, a sexy looking sports car, or a well designed life, but no clear solution in sight, that's when you brainstorm, try crazy stuff, improvise, and keep building your way forward until you come up with something that works. You know it when you see it, whether it's the harmonious lines of a Ferrari or the ultra portable MacBook Air. A great design comes together in a way that can't be solved with equations and spreadsheets and data analysis. It has a look and feel all of its own, a beautiful aesthetic that speaks to you. Your well designed life will have a look and feel all of its own as well. And design thinking will help you solve your own life design problems. Everything that makes your a daily living easier, more productive, more enjoyable, and more pleasurable was created because of a problem and because some designer or team of designers somewhere out there in the world sought to solve that problem. The spaces we live in, work in, and play in were all designed to make our life work and play better. No matter where we look in our external world, we can see what happens when designers tackle problems. We can see the benefits of design thinking, and you're going to see the benefits of design thinking in your own life. Design doesn't just work for creating cool stuff like computers and Ferraris, it works in creating a cool life. You can use design thinking to create a life that is meaningful, joyful, and fulfilling. It doesn't matter who you are or were, what you do or did for a living, how young or how old you are. You can use the same thinking that created the most amazing technology, products, and spaces to design your career and your life. A well designed life is a life that is generative, it is constantly creative, productive, changing, evolving, and there is always the possibility of surprise. You get out of it more than you put in. There is a lot more than lather, rinse, repeat in a well designed life. How do we know? Anyone wants to read this or I can continue? Okay, I'll continue. How do we know? It all started with a lunch. Actually, it all started when we were both undergrads at Stanford University in 1970s. They were little earlier in the decade than Bill. Bill discovered the product design major and an exciting career trajectory to go with it. As a child, he used to draw cars and airplanes while sitting under his grandmother's sewing machine. And when he majored in product design, it was because he had discovered, much to his surprise, that there were people in the world who did this kind of thing every day, and they were called designers. As the executive director of the design problem at Stanford, Bill is still drawing and building things. He's come out from under the sewing machine, directing the undergraduate and graduate programs in design and teaching at the D School, the Hasso Plattner Institute of Design, a multidisciplinary hub of innovation at Stanford, where all the classes are based on the design thinking process. Bill has also worked in startups and Fortune 100 companies, including 7 years at Apple, designing award winning laptops and those hinges, and a number of years in the toy industry, designing Star Wars action figures. Bill knows how lucky he was to have discovered product design and a joyful and fulfilling career path so early. In our teaching career, we have both come to see how rare that is and just how often it doesn't work that way for students, even at Stanford. Unlike Bill, when Dave was an undergrad, he had no idea what he was going to do. He failed at being a biology major, more on that later, and graduated in mechanical engineering, frankly, for lack of a better idea. During college, he never found good help with the question, how do I figure out what I want to do with my life? He managed to figure it out eventually, the hard way, and has enjoyed more than 30 years in executive leadership and management consulting in high technology. He product managed the first mouse and early laser printing projects at Apple, was a co-founder of Electronic Arts, and has helped lots of young startup founders find their way. After a pretty rough start, this career developed wonderfully, but his career developed wonderfully, but he always knew that it had been a lot harder than it needed to be. Even though we both went off to start careers and families, we continue to keep a hand in working with students. Bill was at Stanford, where he watched as hundreds of students came through his office hours and struggled with figuring out life after graduation. Dave was teaching at UC Berkeley, where he had developed a course called How to Find Your Vocation, aka Is Your Calling Calling, which he taught 14 times over 8 years. Still, he longed to do more at Stanford. Along the way, he and Bill had intersected time and again in business and personally. Dave had heard that Bill had just accepted the position of the executive director of the Stanford Program in Design, a program Dave knew well. It occurred to Dave that the multidisciplinary demands of being a designer were likely to put design students under an unusually heavy burden, trying to find a way to conceive a personally meaningful and authentic, as well as commercially viable career vision. He decided to call up Bill and have lunch and share of his ideas just to see what might happen. If it went well, maybe they'd have more lunches on the topic, and in perhaps a year or so, something might come of it. And that's why it all began at lunch. 5 minutes into that lunch, it was done deal. We decided we were going to partner to bring a new course to Stanford to apply design thinking to designing life after college, first to design students, and then went well, and if that went well, then to all students. That course has gone on to become one of the most popular elective classes at Stanford. When asked what we do at Stanford, we will sometimes respond with our carefully crafted elevator reply. We teach courses at Stanford that help any student to apply the innovation principles of design thinking to the wicked problem of designing your life at and after university. And of course, they then say, "Great, what's that mean?" And we usually say, "We teach how to use design to figure out what you want to be when you grow up." At that point, almost everyone says, "Oh, can I take the class?" For years, we have had to say no to that question, at least to everyone who didn't happen to be one of the 16,000 students at Stanford. That is finally no longer the case. We have been offering designing your life workshops to everyone. This is a website. And we have written this book so that you don't have to go to Stanford to have a well designed life. But you do have to be willing to ask yourself some questions, some hard questions. Okay, anyone wants to take it from here?
Yes, Nancy, I can take.
Yeah, go on, Suma.
Designers also love questions, just as Donald faced the mirror every night and asked himself, why the hell I am doing this? Everyone struggles with similar questions about life, about work, and about his or her meaning and purpose in the world. The questions are, how do I find a job that I like or maybe even love? How do I build a career that will make me good living? How do I balance my career with my family? How can I make a difference in the world? Or how can I be thin, sexy, and fabulously rich? We can help you answer all these questions, except the last one. We have all been asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? This is the fundamental question of life, whether we are 15 or 50. Designers love questions, but what they really love is reframing the questions. Reframing is one of the most important mindsets of a designer. Many great innovations get started in a reframe. In design thinking, we always say, don't start with the problem, start with the people, start with empathy. Once we have empathy for the people who will be using our products, we define our point of view, brainstorm, and start prototyping to discover what we don't yet know about the problem. This typically results in a reframe, sometimes also called a pivot. A reframe is when we take new information about the problem, restate our point of view, and start thinking and prototyping again. You start out thinking you are designing a product, a new coffee blend, and a new kind of coffee machine, and reframe when you realize you are actually redesigning the coffee experience, Starbucks, or in an attempt to make an impact on poverty, you stop lending money to the wealthy class in a country as the World Bank does and start lending money to people considered too poor to pay it back, micro-lending and the Grameen Bank. Or the team at Apple comes up with the iPad, a complete reframe of what the portable computing experience is about. In life design, we reframe a lot. The biggest reframe is that your life can't be perfectly planned, that there is not just one solution to your life, and that is a good thing. There are many designs for your life, all filled with hope for the kind of creative and unfolding reality that makes life worth living into. Your life is not a thing, it is an experience. The fun comes from designing and enjoying the experience. The reframe for the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, is this: who or what do you want to grow into? Life is all about growth and change. It is not static. It is not about some destination. It is not about answering the question once and for all, and then it is all done. Nobody really knows what he or she wants to be, even those who check the box for doctor, lawyer, engineer. These are just vague directions on a life path. There are so many questions that persist at every step of the way. What people need is a process, a design process for figuring out what they want, whom they want to grow into, and how to create a life they love. Welcome to Life Design. Life design is the way forward. It's what will help Ellen move from her college major to her first job. It is what will help Janine move from the life she should have into the life she wants. It is what will help Donald find the answer to the questions that keep him up at the night. Designers imagine things that don't yet exist and then they build them and then the world changes. You can do this in your own life. You can imagine a career and a life that don't exist. You can build that future you, and as a result, your life will change. If your life is pretty perfect as is, life design can still help you make it an even better version of the life you currently love living. When you think like a designer, when you are willing to ask the questions, when you realize that life is always about designing something that has never existed before, then your life can sparkle in a way that you could never have imagined. That is, if you like sparkles, it is your design after all. What do we know? In Stanford's design program, we have taught more than 1,000 students design thinking and how to design their lives. And we will let you in on a secret. No one has ever failed our class. In fact, it is impossible to flunk. We have more than 60 years of combined teaching experience, and we have taught this approach to high school students, college students, graduate students, PhD students, 20 somethings, mid career executives, and retirees wanting an encore career. As teachers, we have always guaranteed our students office hours for life. This means that if you take a class from us, we are there for you forever. Period. We have had students come back to us over the years since they have graduated, and they have told us how the tools, ideas, and mindsets that we teach have made a difference for them. We are quite hopeful and frankly pretty confident that these ideas can make a difference for you too. But don't take our word for it. Stanford is a very rigorous place. Though anecdotes are nice, they don't count for much in academia. To speak authoritatively, you need data. Our class is one of the few design thinking class that have been scientifically studied and have proved to make a difference for students on a number of important measures. Two doctoral students did their dissertations on the course, and what they found was pretty exciting. They found that those who took our class were better able to conceive of and pursue a career they really wanted. They had fewer dysfunctional beliefs, those pesky ideas that hold you back and that just are not true, and an increased ability to generate new ideas for their life design, increasing their ideation capability. All of these measures were statistically significant, which in non-geek speak means that the ideas and exercises we lay out in our course and are going to walk you through in this book have been proven effective. They can help you to figure out what you want and show you how to get it. But let's be perfectly clear right from the start. Science or no science, this is all highly personal stuff. We can give you some tools, some ideas, some exercises, but we can't figure it out all for you. We can't give you your insights, change your perspective, and provide you with non stop aha moments, all in 10 easy steps. What we can tell you is that if you actually use the tools and do the life design exercises, you will generate the insights you need to have. Because here is the big truth, there are many versions of you, and they are all right. And life design will help you live into whatever version of you is now playing at the Cineplex. Remember, there are no wrong answers, and we are not grading you. We will suggest you do some exercises in this book, but there are no answers in the back to tell you how you did. We have added a recap of the exercises at the end of each chapter that has them a try stuff box, because we suggest that you try stuff. That is what designers do. We are not measuring you against anyone, and you should not measure yourself against anyone either. We are here to co create with you. Think of us as part of your own personal design team. In fact, we suggest you go out and get a design team right off the bat, a group of people who will read the book with you and do the exercises alongside you, a collaborative team in which you support one another in your pursuit of a well designed life. We will talk about this more later in the book, and by all means, you should feel free to read it on your own fast. Many people think that designers are lone geniuses walking in solitude and waiting for a flash of inspiration to show them the solution to their design problem. Nothing could be further from the truth. There may be some problems, such as the design of a stool or a new set of children blocks, that are simple enough to be tackled by an individual. But in today's highly technical world, almost every problem requires a design team. Design thinking takes this idea even further and suggests that the best results come from radical collaboration. Radical collaboration works on the principle that people with very different backgrounds will bring their idiosyncratic technical and human experiences to the team. This increases the chance that the team will have empathy for those who will use what they are designing, and that the collision of different backgrounds will generate truly unique solutions. This is proved over and over again in B school classes at Stanford, where graduate students create team of business, law, engineering, education, and medical students that come up with breakthrough innovations all the time. The glue that holds these teams together is design thinking. the human-centered approach to design that takes advantage of their different backgrounds to spur collaboration and creativity. Typically, none of the students have any design background when they enroll in our classes, and all of the teams struggle at first to be productive. They have to learn the mindsets of a designer, especially radical collaboration and being mindful of process. But once that happens, they discover that their abilities as a team far exceed what any individual can do, and their creative confidence explodes. Hundreds of successful student projects and innovative companies such as D-Rave and Embrace have come from this process and are proof that collaboration is the way design gets done today. So be a genius at your life design. Just don't think you have to be one of those lone geniuses. Think like a designer. Before you can do life design, you need to learn to think like a designer. We will explain a few simple ways to do this. But first, you need to understand one really big point. Designers don't think their way forward. Designers build their way forward. What does that mean? It means you are not just going to be dreaming up a lot of fun fantasies that have no relationship to the real world or the real you. You are going to build things. We call them prototypes. Try stuff and have a lot of fun in the process. Want a career change? This book will help you make that change, but not by sitting around trying to decide what that change is going to be. We are going to help you think like a designer and build your future prototype by prototype. We are going to help you approach your own life design challenges with the same kind of curiosity and the same kind of creativity that resulted in the invention of the printing press, the light bulb, and the internet. Our focus is mainly on jobs and careers because, let's face it, we spend most of the hours of our days and the days of our lives at work. Work can be a daily source of enormous joy and meaning, or it can be an endless grind and waste of hours spent trying to white knuckle our way through the misery of it all until the weekend comes. A well designed life is not a life of drudgery. You were not put on this earth to work 8 hours a day at a job you hate until the time comes to die. That may sound a bit melodramatic, but many people tell us that this is a good description of their lives. And even those who are lucky enough to find a career they love often find that they are frustrated and have a hard time designing a life that is balanced. It is time to start thinking differently about everything. Design thinking involves certain simple mindsets. This book will teach you those mindsets and how to use them to do life design. The 5 mindsets you are going to learn in order to design your life are curiosity, bias to action, reframing awareness, and radical collaboration. These are your design tools, and with them, you can build anything, including a life you love. First, be curious. Curiosity makes everything new. It invites exploration. It makes everything play. Most of all, curiosity is going to help you get good at being lucky. It is the reason some people see opportunities everywhere. Second, try stuff. When you have a bias to action, you are committed to building your way forward. There is no sitting on the bench just thinking about what you are going to do. There is only getting in the game. Designers try things, they test things out, they create prototype after prototype, failing often until they find what works and what solves the problems. Sometimes they find the problem is entirely different from what they first thought it was. Designers embrace change. They are not attached to a particular outcome because they are always focused on what will happen next, not what the final result will be. Third is reframe problems. Reframing is how designers get unstuck. Reframing also makes sure that we are working on the right problem. Life design involves key reframes that allow you to step back, examine your biases, and open up new solution spaces. Throughout the book, we will be reframing dysfunctional beliefs that prevent people from finding the careers and the lives they want. Reframing is essential to finding the right problems and the right solutions. Next is know it is a process. We know that life gets messy. For every step forward, it can sometimes seem you are moving two steps back. Mistakes will be made, prototypes thrown away. An important part of the process is letting go of your first idea and of a good but not great solution. And sometimes amazing designs can emerge from the mess. The slinky was invented this way. Teflon was created this way. Super glue, Play-Doh. None of these things would exist if a designer somewhere had not screwed up. When you learn to think like a designer, you learn to be aware of the process. Life design is a journey. Let go of the end goal and focus on the process and see what happens next. Ask for help. The last mindset of design thinking is perhaps the most important, especially when it comes to designing your life. Radical collaboration. What this means is simple. You are not alone. The best designers know that great design requires radical collaboration. It takes a team. A painter can create an artistic masterpiece alone on a windswept coast, but a designer cannot create the iPhone alone, windswept beach or not. And your life is more like a great design than a work of art. So you cannot create it alone either. You do not have to come up with a brilliant life design by yourself. Design is a collaborative process, and many of the best ideas are going to come from other people. You just need to ask and know the right questions to ask. In this book, you will learn how to use mentors and a supportive community to help with your life design. When you reach out to the world reaches right back, and this changes everything. In other words, life design, like all design, is a team sport. Anti-passion is our passion. Many people operate under the dysfunctional belief that they just need to find out what they are passionate about. Once they know their passion, everything else will somehow magically fall into place. We hate this idea for one good reason. Most people don't know their passion. Our colleague William Damon, director of the Stanford Center on Adolescence, found that only 1 in 5 young people between 12 and 26 have a clear vision of where they want to go and what they want to accomplish in life. And why our experience suggests similarly that 80% of people of all ages don't really know what they are passionate about. So, conversations with the career counselors often go like this: Career counselor, what are you passionate about? Job seeker, I don't know. Career counselor, well, come back when you figure it out. Some career counselors will give people tests to assess people's interests or strengths or to survey their skills. But anyone who has taken such tests knows that the conclusions are often far from conclusive. Besides, finding out that you could be a pilot, an engineer, or an elevator repairman is not very helpful or actionable. So we are not very passionate about finding your passion. We believe that people actually need to take time to develop a passion. And the research shows that for most people, passion comes after they try something, discover they like it, and develop mastery, not before. To put it more succinctly, passion is the result of a good life design, not the cause. Most people do not have that one thing they are passionate about, that singular motivator that drives all of their life decisions and infuses every waking moment with a sense of purpose and meaning. If you have found that studying the mating habits and evolution of mollusks from the Cambrian period until the present day is your purpose for living. We salute you. Charles Darwin spent 39 years studying earthworms. We salute Charles Darwin. What we don't salute is a method of approaching life design that leaves out 80% of the population. In truth, most people are passionate about many different things, and the only way to know what they want to do is to prototype some potential lives, try them out, and see what really resonates with them. We are serious about this. You don't need to know your passion in order to design a life you love. Once you know how to prototype your way forward, you are on the path to discovering the things you truly love, passion or not. How much is left? Because or should I go on? Yeah, it's finished.
Yeah, so I can read the remaining 2 pages so
Yeah,
that we conclude with. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Suman. A well designed life. A well designed life is a life that makes sense. It's a life in which who you are, what you believe, and what you do all line up together. When you have a well designed life and someone asks you how it's going, you have an answer. You can tell that person that your life is going well, and you can tell how and why. A well designed life is a marvelous portfolio of experiences, of adventures, of failures that taught you important lessons, of hardships that made you stronger and helped you know yourself better, and of achievements and satisfactions. It's worth emphasizing that failures and hardships are a part of every life, even the well designed ones. We are going to help you figure out what a well designed life looks like for you. Our students and clients tell us it's fun. They also tell us that it's full of surprises. We can assume you we can assure you that at times it will take you out of your comfort zone. We are going to ask you to do things that may feel counterintuitive or at the very least different from what you have been taught in the past. Curiosity, bias to action, reframing, awareness, radical collaboration. What happens when you do these things? What happens when you engage in life design? Actually, something quite extraordinary happens. Things you want to start to show up in your life. You start to hear of job openings you were dreaming about. People you were interested in meeting just happen to be in town. What is happening here? For starters, it's that getting good at being lucky thing we mentioned earlier, a result of curiosity and awareness, and a byproduct of using the 5 mindsets. In addition, the process of discovering who you are and what you want has a rather extraordinary effect on your life. There will be the effort and action involved, no doubt, but it will seem rather surprisingly as if everyone is conspiring to help you. And by being aware of the process, you will have a lot of fun along the way. All through the process of life design, we'll be right here with you to guide you, to challenge you. We are going to give you the ideas and tools you need to for designing your way through life. We are going to help you find your next job, your next career, your next big thing. We are going to help you design your life, a life that you love. So by this we conclude with the introduction, and the next is the first chapter. It says start from where you are, basically. Yeah. So we'll stop here today and we'll start with the chapter 1 tomorrow. Yeah. So thanks everyone for reading, and let's reflect back what we read, what we really enjoyed, what struck home, and what was something which made you think. Yeah. Please share.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to listen.
Okay, I would like to share my experience, and the book is so good. It's such a wonderful read that I actually missed the meeting to actually get back to reading again. I found it to be really that good. Uh, so I would just share one experience. We have Akshardham Temple in Noida, okay, and they have these shows, wherein they depict different life things and different, from let's say history and all. Okay, so I remember going there. The first statue which was there, I still remember. I went many years back. I maybe 10, 15 years back. There was a statue, and it was a depiction that the statue is very depictive of the way you design your life. Matlab, as a sculpture designs the statue, the we say na the behavior or the bhav that he has, okay, that actually comes in the idol or the statue that the sculpture is making. So the same way they were actually telling us that our life is such, it's in our hand how we design our life. Okay, so that thing I saw 10 years back, 10, 15 years back, and when we were reading this, I could connect so much with what I saw there. So just thought of sharing with everybody.
Wow, that's a nice share. Yeah, and I liked how you connected it with it. So why do you connect it with it? I'm sorry, but I just maybe missed it. So what connected you with that statue as
So
such? It said this.
no, it was basically like we are reading the book, design your life. Okay. So we are actually talking about it's on us how we design our life. Okay. And they are telling us how designers do, and we should also be designing our life. So, why I mentioned about that statue is they were actually telling us it's in our hands how we design our life. Okay. We leave it to a lot of other external things. So, it was just that it's everything is in our hand the way we are designing our life. So that is the reason I shared that experience.
Okay, okay, now I got it. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
The way you have connected it to it. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Yeah.
thank
Anyone
you.
else?
Yes, I am very excited to read this because I think in our heart of hearts, everybody thinks that what is my true purpose, what is whatever major we have, and what else we want to do. So the writer is telling these five tools how they can help. Maybe we also are able to go through those tools, and with the help of those tools, maybe we get some insight to design our life. The example of Ellen was given, Ellen and Donald, that Ellen, how she loved the rocks and just she joined the education to become a geologist. But later she found that it was not an interesting job for her. She doesn't want to do that. So I am really excited to read this book to further know what we can learn from it through those tools. Yeah, thank you, Manisalvi.
I will
Yeah,
just add on to what just Suman told us, okay, about, we all don't know our purpose. So I was reading this another book, Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. Okay, he says that, we are actually, we are all in jobs, and actually the company pay us to forget our own calling, or, forget our own, what, is our purpose. They are actually paying us to forget that and work for their purpose. Okay, so I could connect so well with, just now what Suman said, that actually we all don't know our purpose. And even the companies don't want us to realize our purpose.
I
There is
like
this
that
one
idea.
saying. I
Sorry.
have heard it somewhere. If you don't if you don't work for on your ideas,
Yeah,
someone will pay you to work on theirs.
on their idea. That's true.
So it reminded me of that saying what you just shared. It's partially true, I would say, because many people who have their calling and who are working in the right jobs that are meant for them, they actually see growth there and they feel very passionate in their jobs, and they also reach heights because as we read about this radical collaboration today, so they experience that radical collaboration in their jobs. So that is how they grow, because always it's not always about entrepreneurship, that you have to be an entrepreneur only or a solopreneur or whatever only to follow your passion. Sometimes some people, if we see around us, like some CEOs or some people who have actually doing very good in their companies, they are doing good because of the systems they are benefiting with, and the corporations and all of that, and that leverages their own passion, but they have just found it for themselves. So it's not about job or business as such, but it's basically about finding your calling and being in the right direction and the right place. So yeah, anyone else, anyone wants to add? Maniselvi is not there. Actually, she's Maniselvi, you're there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm there.
I got confused with that B Club name. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you just rename it, whoever is handling it. Yeah, okay, yeah. Anjali, Melinji, anything you want to add? Sorry if I interrupted anyone.
Yeah, quick addition from mine. Today's this particular book. As I mentioned yesterday, we finished three emotional intelligence, emotional management books this year, and now we are focusing on the thinking. So the today's word for me is design thinking. Uh, I just want to connect it to the other book, which again we are reading, is a Thinking Straight. In that book, author mentioned, which I completely agree with. Let's see one day at a time. Okay, in today this thing we have four type of thoughts. We know about that, right? One is positive thoughts, one is negative thoughts, and third one is the best thought, and fourth one is the necessary thoughts, which is our working mind, which we use to do our jobs actually. Job place. If I'm a surgeon, then surgery. If I'm engineering, then designing. That way. Okay, so that is a necessary thought. So what the author says that throughout the day you do two type of thinking. One is you work on the problems in day to day life. Yes, work on the problem. And second one, which is again fruitful, is productive one, is you actually gather the knowledge. Okay, a lot of knowledge after reading books, through experience, etc., so that you can make your life beautiful. The future problems you can able to solve, gathering that information knowledge. So we are always on these two steps. One is, yes, what are the problems at hand for that day, we are working on that. And second one is, yes, we are gathering all this knowledge. So where I like this today's book, like the first few chapters is, okay, so I didn't know, like, okay, now I have this thinking capability apart from my day-to-day job. How I'm going to utilize that thinking? Okay, and that this author come up with the saying sign designer thinking. So I think I'm going to learn that. Okay, so that West thinking I don't want. Okay, positive negative thoughts I know about it now. Okay, necessary thinking which I use my day-to-day job, like my job. But there is a potential in me, there is a thinking this thing in me tool. Now this book I will help me to design that, use that as definitely it will give the steps and this thing which I need to follow on everyday basis, to get that meaningful life. Because the example Jenny in this book, she has everything, all the success. Okay, but still she is not satisfied. I found many time this type of feeling. I have business, I have job, and but something is missing. So that missing part is, I think, there is design defect. There is something missed in that design. So I think definitely I love to read further and see what this book brings. Yeah, this year book reading is awesome for me because it addresses all the different areas of my life, emotional, then thinking, and now this design thinking. So yeah, definitely looking forward for it. Thank you. Yeah.
Tuman, you want to say something?
No, I have, yeah, what I wanted, I have shared.
Okay. Anybody else would like to share?
Anjali, I would like to share. So
Yeah.
basically, I have done this course which we are reading the book of. So I have done the course of design thinking of stand by not directly by them, but by their facilitators. And even my ma'am's story, like the one who was conducting the course for us. So she also is a surgeon by profession, and she shared a story. So it was like since she was 3 years old, it was always her dream to become a surgeon. So that is always what she wanted to become, and she did. Like she pursued that. At the age of 9 she decided she wanted to be a heart surgeon, and all of that. It was all so when someone knows it so early, it's like their passion, right? Like we feel that it's their calling and all of that. But then when she was sharing her story, she said, like, when I actually got my degree in my hand, because all her life she pursued for that, but when she got her degree she did not feel that excitement. She did not feel like, oh, this is what it is, and she was like, okay, now what? And she also, so basically this book is what I know and what I understand is, especially if you are uh looking for pivoting in your life, or if you're looking for any career change, or just like the examples where you're not feeling fulfilled with whatever you're doing, or maybe your degrees or your accomplishments as such, then this approach is the best approach. And in fact, in the course now, when we teach or when they do it, they actually help you compare all the different types of thinking processes. So engineering is one of that. And so they help, they initially it starts that way, that where they explain how different type of thinking schools have different methodologies, and how design thinking is different from that, and how it is more relevant to our life designing. Because it will come, I think, somewhere in the book. I'm also curious because I've already done the course, so I know it in depth, how actually it in operation, or it is more, as they call na, radical collaboration. So it is more of an interactive experience, where it's more of a group experience, where you come up with ideas, the way you execute the tools and everything is very differently processed in that in that infrastructure, or in that room that we are part of. Like basically it's all together, we work towards an idea and all of that. There are tools that we use, and it's very beautiful. It was a wonderful experience for me personally, because it's an inside out approach. So it's not, although we are working in a group, the experience gives you a lot of insights in that 1 day, 2 day, or whatever period of time that duration is. You come up, it's a very different meditative experience in itself. And as it's not just meditate or this thing, but it's so much fun also at the same time, with all those creativity related tools and everything. So I'm actually curious to see what the book is now talking about, and how much in depth the book is really taking us uh, versus the actual they will somewhere they will suggest in future, I guess, in the book, that you do this, and because that's more of an experiential course as such. So now I think the book will be explaining us the concept of it, and I don't know how deep they might be able to take us through the book, but just sharing. It's a very beautiful this thing. So me and Manisha, we were very, both of us were very excited to take this book up. We were actually expecting more people, so maybe if there were more participants, we could have done something fun together. Like I could have shared some. Tools or something where we could do something together as a group. Let's see. Hopefully if we get more people, we can, because that is something you cannot do in like few people, some exercises or some techniques. So let's see, if going forward, if there is good number of participation, we can do something or try something out from that, and let's see how it goes in the book also. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, anyone else would like to add anything? Okay. So actually, this book's what we read today was a brief introduction, just giving a background as to what is the background and the concept of designing a life. I think it opens up us to a different perspective towards life. I think it widens the perspective to life is not just the routine, doing routine things, achieving the regular things, but something beyond. And I like the word experimentation, which seems to come out, that prototypes and you build things is something where we experiment. We just don't go with what life throws at us. We keep that aside and we think that what else can be done here? What else am I looking for? What else can be my purpose? So this would need us to really think differently, and this might make us at the end think differently about the way we are approaching life altogether today. So normally we try to control everything, and only when the outcome is as desired, that what we want, we are happy. So it's very conditional. It's very control seeking, and it is very defined. So, but the world around us is not so. The reality, if we understand that things are beyond our control many a times, there are a lot of other things which we are not thinking right now. We always seek balance, but maybe balance is more than balance may not be achieved. We'll need to agree on some set-offs, that I accept this and not this. So that has to be some give and take there. We might need to not seek control, but you have to be ready for the change, maybe. So this is somewhere counterintuitive, and it is somewhere challenging the way we function today. So, as the starting of the book itself says, that there will be certain exercises, there will be certain points which will be further clarified, which will set us on the road of designing our life. But the work has to be done by us, which even they clearly say. We can give you the tools, but what the building part and the thinking part, seeking your passion part, we will have to address it. Uh, Also, as Suman said, there are these relevant examples are so much a stark contrast, but yet we will all resonate somewhere at a level. All three examples, first example is we don't know where we are headed, but we just go in a moment of liking that we want to become a geologist. Second is we have everything, but there is a vacuum somewhere. We still are seeking something higher. And the third is we have everything, and yet it is only a mundane chore kind of a life that we have had so far. So all these three examples somewhere we will deeply resonate with, and this is also a possible loop in which humans tend to fall into, and what can be done differently is what I think we will be seeking and uh, uh, getting here. Lot of different perspectives they have built. As curiosity is something which many books talk about. Bias for action, try stuff is something very different. Trying stuff rather than actually pegging it to an outcome is something which is different. Reframing, getting unstuck, yes, that is also somewhere we have heard, but the way they have put it, I think it makes it more effective because it is more understandable. What is actually a reframe? Yeah. Radical collaboration is something we by nature are doing, but we don't realize its power and the impact it is having on our lives. And how do we use it? I think this book will help us use that very effectively. And that is all it is about. Because if you see in your palm, all the fingers are different, but yet you are able to efficiently work on so many things just by your hand. So that is a natural gift we all have. Now, are we aligned to actually use it and make it, uh, uh, make it useful to us is what we have to see. And I think this book will address it, and we will be able to do so. So the point here is problems. We somewhere run away from problems, or somewhere we avoid them, or somewhere we shrug them, somewhere we face them boldly, and somewhere we are just banging our heads up around it. But at the end of the day, we will be getting problems, and we will be finding solutions as well. Because in life, even the insurmountable problems, somewhere we have survived so far. So that is the I think highlight this book in the starting itself made, that there is a difference between the way engineering thinking, that is a fixed outcome based thinking, versus a dynamic thinking, which is the design thinking, for solutions that we can, we have not thought so far in those lines. So I think this, as Milind said, that this will be a drastic change in the way that we are thinking right now, the possibilities we are looking right now, versus what can be the other way around, or what is the other aspect to it. Yeah. So keep questioning, keep noting your insights, I would say, and just go on the experience base of the book, I would say, because it's not about what points you learn, but how are you able to integrate into your life, and where do you see a connect. Now a group like this helps you in a way that you can see your mirror images, somewhere in someone, and that person can ignite that insight in you. And those example sharings, those discussions will always help us. So I think this is a very good book for a team deliberation. And we would just seek that everyone keep coming and sharing their ideas and really enjoying this book, as the author says. And just um, just be try to be experimenting, doing different things of the problem that you have right now, and how this book can address that. So thank you everyone for joining in. Does anybody else want to share anything?
Yeah, I would like to say something, Maniselvi. If time allows, if you allow, is it okay?
Yeah, please.
So I joined late actually, so I missed the most of the portion today. But towards the end, I saw a few things: curiosity and try stuff, and one more, reframing. So first thing, I would like to reframe one sentence what you just now said, that what life throws at us. So instead of, I always believed it's never thrown to us, it's always presented to us. Sometimes when we are closed with our thoughts and we are unable to find the direction, that time we have to be open with whatever is coming to us, because somewhere that brings in opportunities which we have never thought of. If I just think of about my life trajectory, it has been so much, so drastic and so much full of variety. I never thought what I would be today. I was something different, from a sports person, from a university topper, like, and UPSC. I was just seeking somewhere, but then I became a talent hunt winner, dance. Okay, Kathak. I got that talent hunt, and then I became the jury member. I got into law. Today I am a counselor. I'm a mediator. So something different, whatever. And I never expected I would be going into this line. I really never thought of occult sciences. I never thought of counseling. It was something different. But everywhere, wherever I tried, it gave me so much. Yeah, what I feel is it is a blessing. I was recognized. I got fame, and so much of learning was there, and so much experience was there. So it was because I was open to everything. I have never pursued one thing. Whatever I was pursuing earlier, I was so much frustrated at a time that I was not able to achieve that what I had been trying for so long. But then when I just left it to the life, okay, let it come to me, whatever is there in my future or whatever is in my life, I was open to it. I got so many things to enjoy. And that is how I think the reframing should be, that it is not something is being thrown to us. It is something that is being presented to us. That is what is designing means. If one person is given with a pencil, just one black color, what will you do? Either a person will just scribble, or someone will draw a portrait. Someone can draw a sketch, beautiful, anything beautiful, painting out, not painting, but a sketch out of that, just with one color. So this is how we are designing our life. Designing means being creative. Creativity means giving a nice form, nice shape, nice thoughts to it, whatever is given to you. It doesn't mean that we should just think of something else. Okay, if this has been, I should run for something else. If just a pencil is given to us and without any eraser, what would you do? So being thoughtful, being creative, and being like whatever we are drawing, some with it, does it hold any meaning? that is what is designing our life is. So I think designing means that just draw your life, draw a design, a beautiful life with whatever is given to you. Don't run after or don't pursue something which you don't know exactly is it meant for you or not. Running after something which you don't know yourself, you are not clear yourself how to do, then just sometimes you need to leave yourself to the time and you need to leave yourself to the circumstances. Everything will fall in place. So there are times when we have to struggle, but there are times when we have to leave ourselves and think, okay, this is what is in the platter, enjoy it, relish it, and be happy. So this is what I take designing my life is all about. So reframing and trying stuff, because I tried different stuffs which I never thought of. So I have to be open, and trying is like, definitely it goes with curiosity. What is there? What else is there? Because I don't know what that law field holded for me. I had never studied law. I was never into that thing, but now I know. When I got into it, I was so happy. Oh, this is something I'm getting so much accolade. I'm getting so much name, because working like a judge in the High Court, it's something very different experience. So I never knew that. But if I would have been scared, oh, this is not my arena, this is not my field, I have never studied that. I was not, if I have given to that chances that, okay, why should I go somewhere which I never thought of? So we have to be open. We have to try new stuff. Then only life will, because you don't know where the blessing is coming from. So we have to be open and we have to design with whatever is being served to us. That's all.
Thanks, Anjali, for sharing that personal stuff with us. Yes, we have to be open. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share anything, or can we call it
Yes,
a day?
I just want to add to what Anjali shared. So basically, we also read in the chapter today about life is a portfolio of experiences. So there was this one beautiful line, right, where it said like our life is a portfolio of experiences, and there was this somewhere it also mentioned about evolution. Like uh, the whole process helps us to evolve also. So as we evolve, our choices change, our preferences change, and when we are open to it, so there is no failure or like victory or failure, or that we don't operate through that mindset, but we are more into creating prototypes, into creating lot of this thing. And there I think it will come somewhere like it is more about living a and life than a or life, because we are raised into thinking and believing that we have to choose one path and then go into it. But many a times we are multi-passionate people, and we are in love with so many things. So I think it is more about integrating those things and creating something new out of it. So maybe so something like that. So just wanted to add to what Anjali already shared. It was beautifully shared by her. Just remembered these things, so just thought of adding. Yeah. Anyone else wants to? Otherwise, Manisali, you can um, call it a day.
Can anyone share the PDF copy? Because I could not find the PDF in the group.